Start with the classic trolley problem. Imagine a runaway trolley speeding down the tracks. Ahead, 5 people are tied up and unable to move. You're standing next to a lever that can divert the trolley onto another track, but there's one person tied up there. The dilemma: do you pull the lever, sacrificing one to save 5, or do nothing and let 5 perish? This moral puzzle has sparked debates for decades, but today we'll explore why the answer might be more straightforward than it seems. Trolley problem was first introduced by philosopher Philip Foot in 1967. It was designed to probe our intuitions about morality and the value of human life. Over the years, it's become a staple in ethics classes, psychology experiments, and even pop culture. But why does this scenario captivate us so much? It's because it forces us to confront uncomfortable choices and question what we believe is right or wrong. One of the most common responses to the trolley problem is the utilitarian perspective. Utilitarianism suggests that the best action is the one that maximizes overall happiness or minimizes suffering. In this case, pulling the lever to save 5 at the expense of one seems like the logical choice. This approach is all about numbers and outcomes, focusing on the greater good, but is it really that simple? On the other hand, deontological ethics, championed by philosophers like Immanuel Kant, argues that some actions are inherently wrong regardless of the outcome. From this viewpoint, pulling the lever means actively causing harm to an innocent person, which is morally unacceptable. This approach values rules and duties over consequences, making the decision less about numbers and more about principles. Trolley problem feels complicated because it pits two powerful moral instincts against each other: the desire to do the most good and the aversion to causing harm. Our brains struggle to reconcile these instincts, leading to moral confusion. But what if the problem is only complicated because we overthink it? Maybe the answer is simpler than we realize. Let's try to strip away the emotional weight. If we look at the trolley problem as a straightforward math problem, the numbers point to one clear solution: save the most lives. When we remove personal feelings and focus on outcomes, the dilemma becomes less about guilt and more about logic. This perspective can make the answer seem almost obvious. Trolley problem isn't just a thought experiment. It has real-world applications, especially in fields like self-driving cars and medical ethics. Engineers and doctors often face decisions where they must choose between two bad outcomes. By applying clear principles, these professionals can make tough choices more confidently, showing that the trolley problem's logic is useful beyond philosophy. Key factor in the trolley problem is the idea of responsibility. Are you more responsible for harm you cause directly or harm you allow to happen by doing nothing? This question shapes how people answer the dilemma. Some feel that pulling the lever makes them the cause of harm, while others see inaction as equally responsible. Our gut reactions to the trolley problem are shaped by moral intuitions, automatic feelings about right and wrong. These instincts often conflict with logical reasoning, making the problem feel harder than it is. But when we step back and analyze our intuitions, we might find that our initial answers are more consistent than we think. Context matters. If the one person on the other track is a loved one, or if the 5 are strangers, our answers might change. But the basic logic of the problem remains the same. It's about making a choice when all options are bad. Recognizing this helps us see the core simplicity beneath the emotional complexity. At its heart, the trolley problem is a numbers game: 5 lives versus 1. When we focus on the math, the utilitarian answer stands out: save more lives. This approach may feel cold, but it's logically consistent. Many people find comfort in clear rules when faced with tough choices. Some argue that certain actions are always wrong, no matter the outcome. This is the stance of moral absolutism. For these thinkers, pulling the lever is unacceptable because it involves intentionally harming an innocent person. This perspective values moral rules above all else, even if it means more people are hurt. Taking action versus doing nothing is a central theme. Some people feel more responsible for harm caused by action than by inaction. But from a logical standpoint, the outcome is the same: someone is harmed either way. Recognizing this can help us see the problem in a new light. The trolley problem also highlights the bystander effect, the tendency to avoid taking action in emergencies. In real life, people often freeze or hope someone else will intervene. The problem forces us to confront this instinct and consider the consequences of inaction. Empathy plays a huge role in how we answer the trolley problem. Imagining ourselves in the shoes of those on the tracks can make the decision feel more personal and difficult. But when we step back and look at the bigger picture, the logic of saving more lives often prevails. If we believe in saving the most lives in one scenario, shouldn't we apply the same logic in others? Moral consistency means applying our principles evenly, even when it's uncomfortable. This approach can simplify tough decisions by giving us a clear framework to follow. Some worry that making exceptions in the trolley problem leads to a slippery slope where harming one for the greater good becomes too easy. This concern is valid, but it doesn't change the basic logic of the problem. It simply reminds us to be careful when applying moral rules. We face trolley-like dilemmas every day, though they're usually less dramatic. Choosing how to spend our time, money, or attention often involves trade-offs. By recognizing the core logic of these choices, we can make better decisions in our daily lives. Thinking through the trolley problem helps us grow morally. It challenges us to examine our values, question our instincts, and refine our ethical beliefs. Over time, this process can make us more thoughtful and consistent decision makers. When we cut through the emotional noise, the trolley problem's logic is surprisingly simple: either save more lives or follow strict rules. Both approaches have their merits, but the core dilemma is clear. Recognizing this simplicity can help us make peace with tough choices. Philosophers have debated the trolley problem for decades, but their discussions help us clarify our own thinking. By studying different perspectives, we can better understand our values and make more informed decisions both in theory and in practice. Talking about the trolley problem with others can reveal new insights. Different people bring different values and experiences to the table, enriching our understanding of the dilemma. This process shows that even simple problems can have layers of meaning. While the trolley problem is useful for exploring ethics, real life is often messier. In reality, we rarely have perfect information or clear-cut choices. Still, the problem teaches us valuable lessons about decision-making and moral clarity. When faced with tough choices, applying the logic of the trolley problem can help. By focusing on outcomes or principles, we can make decisions with confidence. The key is to be honest about our values and consistent in our reasoning. Reflecting on the trolley problem helps us prepare for real-life dilemmas. By thinking through our choices ahead of time, we're better equipped to act when it matters. This habit of reflection can lead to wiser, more ethical decisions. So, is the trolley problem really that hard? When we break it down, the answer is often simpler than it appears. By focusing on clear principles, whether it's maximizing good or following rules, we can navigate even the toughest moral dilemmas with confidence. The lessons of the trolley problem extend far beyond philosophy class. They help us think more clearly about everyday choices, from business decisions to personal relationships. By practicing moral reasoning, we become better at handling life's challenges. Embracing the simplicity at the heart of the trolley problem can be liberating. Instead of getting lost in endless debate, we can focus on what matters most, making thoughtful, consistent choices. Sometimes the simplest answer is the best one. The trolley problem may seem complicated at first, but with a little reflection, its core logic becomes clear. Whether you lean toward utilitarianism or deontology, the important thing is to think carefully and act with integrity. That's the real lesson behind the trolley problem. In summary, the trolley problem challenges us to weigh outcomes against principles, but its logic is often simpler than we think. By understanding the core dilemma and applying consistent reasoning, we can approach moral decisions with greater clarity and confidence. The next time you face a tough choice, remember, sometimes the answer is easier than it appears.